Governor Ron Desantis tries to punish Orlando venue that hosted Christmas drag show. The administration of anti-LGBTQ plus Florida Governor Ron Desantis is trying to take away the liquor license of a performing arts center as punishment for hosting a drag show that children were allowed to attend. The Florida Department of Business Professional Regulation filed a complaint this week against the Orlando Philharmonic Plaza Foundation Incorporated after it hosted, quote, a drag queen Christmas, unquote, show on December 28th. The complaint took issue with the fact that the drag show was advertised as all ages and said the notice warning about inappropriate content, quote, was barely visible, unquote. As per the complaint, the show included sexually explicit songs and dances without expressly prohibiting children from attending. In reality, the venue left it up to the parents' discretion with a sign that read, quote, while we are not restricting access to anyone under 18, please be advised that some may think the context is not appropriate for under 18, unquote. Former Florida legislator Carlos Guillermo Smith shared his view on the matter on Twitter. He tweeted that this attempt by the DeSantis administration is nothing but a misuse of regulatory power that can cause severe economic consequences for local businesses. My goodness. Here we are in 2023, and the most important thing that our governor has to talk about are drag shows. Drag Bible Hour hosted by our senior minister kind of put that in context. We were able to look at the queers in the Bible and realize, especially in one of my favorite books, the Book of Esther, where we looked at how drag queens were most important to the evolution of Esther in that book. If it wasn't for her eunuchs, who most often were in drag, she wouldn't have been able to become Queen Esther. Yep. So again, we just have way too much going on in, again, I'm going to keep saying it, finding enemies to fight.
Mm-hmm. And it's just hypocritical anyway, to try to enforce this, resurrect this Hays Code for live entertainment in the 21st century. Governor DeSantis needs to not be micromanaging my life. That's not helping anybody else. And if you, this whole thing about content, save the children, all this content, it's BS. Because if you have, unless you shield your children from the magazine rack at the supermarket, unless you don't have a television in your home, unless you don't have access to radio or podcasts, sexual content happens. I remember as a child watching Bugs Bunny, getting in drag and trying to seduce Elmer Fudd. Get over yourself.
You know, we have lots of local places that do drag shows in our community here, and we love them and we want to affirm them. But I want to be very clear in this thinking is that it will just not stop with these places. That's right. I predict that this will also come to places like Sunshine Cathedral that host drag shows and other performances. And so if we think that it's just going to stop there, it's not. I don't think this administration or other administration, even throughout our nation, is going to stop at just this point. That's why I'm also proud that we have places like Sunshine Cathedral who will continue to do drag shows and host other events here at our space, because we want to make this a safe place for everybody, and it is a safe place for everybody.
Right. And when you talk about safe places for everybody, you're talking about faith communities and churches. One thing that we have often said is that we want people to be able to live their lives openly and authentically. Yes. If someone appreciates the art of drag, and it is an art, it's an entertainment form, it's phenomenal. If that is something that is really meaningful for folks, they're living their life authentically.
Yes.
They're not hurting anybody. And I think then that it passes that on to anybody else who may need to see that. Hey, I like that. I want to live my life that way. If this person can do it, why can't I do it?
Drag is an exaggeration. RuPaul says it doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are. Drag is an exaggeration of our reality. And so what drag queens are, they are permission giving, and that's what they're afraid of. Yeah. Drag queens give people permission to live their lives authentically, joyfully, out loud. And so somebody puts on a wig, somebody looks like a clown, someone lip syncs to a song. Do they really care? No, it is the political undertones of I am doing this, and so you can do a smaller version of this yourself. And if we just all live our lives, that threatens power keepers.
Oh, yeah.
This is about power. Make no, and we do it in church because it's one of the ways we worship. It's one of the ways we affirm the sacred value of all people. Drag queens have always been the shamans of our tribe. We do it in church because that now is part of how we worship. Dare you really come for how people worship?
Exactly.
And what are you afraid of?
Yeah,
This-
there's
Judge,
a
what are you
whole
afraid
lot
of?
more than
What are
that.
you afraid of?
What's going on
Always
there?
the question.
All right. Let me.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.